The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network. You're listening to the Monday Night Roundtable. For the next 2 hours, we'll talk local high school sports with the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith.
10-5, touchdown, Indians.
Give me the corners, 2 scores, baby.
Give me the corners.
The voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton.
Throw the ball, has a receiver long upfield, chasing it down. Made by Rylan Griffith. He'll take it all the way to the end zone.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, the Roundtable begins now.
Good Monday evening, everybody. Happy Labor Day, and welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network alongside the voice of the Indians, Tim Smith, the voice of the Highlanders, Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett. Thank you for joining us. We are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. Thank you goes out to Greg Bond and the Scott County School System for hosting us tonight. We will be here for the next 2 hours as we talk high school sports, and we got a lot coming your way. A lot of guests going to step in over the next couple hours. We've got our Legend of the Game coming up a little bit later for the first time this season. That segment will be recorded live. Rick will be interviewing Billy Hall from Scott High School. So a lot to come, but as always, we'll start things off by talking about the games on Friday night. And Tim, I'm going to turn over here to you first and talk about that Oneida win over Eagleton. I think a lot of people thought that Oneida was just going to go over there and kind of have a field day. You talked a lot about the fact that it was Eagleton's first home game and they would be up for that, and they were up for that, and that was a tough, hard-fought game. But Oneida gets the win.
Yeah, I think Eagleton continued to show some things that Oneida is struggling in right now. And I think namely one of the big numbers that I notice is the number of plays that we're running compared to the other team. We fell behind Eagleton in the number of plays we ran. And I know that's a big statistic you hear about a lot now. I heard several college coaches talking this weekend about the new rules in college have reduced the number of plays that they're getting. And I know Coach Heupel at Tennessee has always been big about the number he runs. And so I guess that's something that's just on the mind quite a bit recently, but it's true. Eagleton had more drives. They sustained drives against the Indians. And that's something that even though the Indians had the 28-14 win over Rockwood and they got the 14-3 win over Eagleton, sustaining drives has not been the feature as much as a big play, a big hitter for Oneida. And so, we saw that again on Friday night with the handoff to Jesse Zachary, and he runs on a 4th down, on a 4th and 1. He takes it the majority of the field for the first score, and then the Indians are able to move the ball downfield again with some big hits and get a second touchdown. And then that was kind of it for the night. So, Oneida struggled to get first downs. I think I was listening to Rick Friday night, and he gave a shout-out to First National because he felt like he hadn't given them enough shout-outs because they sponsored those first downs. It does feel like that in these games sometimes. I feel a bit guilty that we're not we're not throwing out the First National Bank first downs a little bit more, but it seems like that is the issue that through the first 3 games for Oneida has been a thing, and they're 2-1. So to start off talking about something negative seems probably the wrong thing to do. But it is what it is, and I think Coach Jimmy May described that on Friday night when he talked with us. And in his words, both times that he's had a win this year, he has started off almost without fail. The first thing he says is, "You don't ever apologize for a win," which means it didn't look like maybe he felt like it should have. So I guess the positive side of that is you don't have to worry about your peaking too early. There's still some improvement. You got to look at the bright side, right? And so the other positive of that is you've not even begun region play, but that's going to happen this week. And so, Wartburg is a very dangerous team. The Indians lost to Coalfield decisively. Wartburg was in a game with Coalfield at the half, 20-12. And so, they put points on the board against Coalfield early in that game. It was the first game of the season. They did lose pretty significantly, through that second half. And then I think they bounced back the next week and probably, did not approach Harriman with the intensity that they did Coalfield. They beat the Harriman Blue Devils, but I don't think it was indicative of how much better they probably are than Harriman. Then they were off last week. So they've been sitting on that, and they had a week off. they'll be fresh. The Indians have an extra day. The Indians have the home field advantage, so it's going to be an important game when Wartburg comes in. But I think also through this, there's positives that we're seeing. There's definitely growth we have seen, and defensively for Oneida, the growth has been there. The line of scrimmage it was a concern going into the year, and that's not so much the concern as much anymore. The running game is something we were hoping to see Friday night, established a little bit in a stronger way, and we did see some good runs on Friday night. It just it didn't seem like we stuck with the run as much against Eagleton. So, and they're part of the reason of that. Like I say, they were able to possess the ball to make big plays. I mean, I was impressed with their quarterback, Clemmer, and just his presence, and he calmed the team. And I think we mentioned it in the broadcast. This was their first time in those home jerseys, and they wanted to represent well. They got the lead 3-0, and they played pretty well all night. And they've got some good playmakers. And it's a situation where they're in Blount County, and they're just a few blocks away from Alcoa High School, and there's a subdivision in between that kids are going to decide, am I going to Alcoa, am I going to Eagleton? So, I mean, Eagleton's just going to get better. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
And so I felt like Eagleton played their best game of the two I'd seen, Tellico Plains and against the Highlanders. They didn't look good at all, but I thought they looked good at home for the most part on Friday night. It was a big game. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. I'm not sure exactly where they are this week, if they're playing at home or traveling, but everybody we met from that school and involved with the program, high-class quality individuals. I mean, we were there a long time. We were very early, and we got to spend a lot of time with those folks. And, everything for success is there for Eagleton, from the facilities to the people they have in place to just the entire setup. So I think it's good to get away with that win, and I think the Indians now focus on this Friday night, the first region game with Wartburg. Everything's kind of been just getting ready to get into what's important is this region play, because this is a pretty close to a make or break for playoff contention already when you look at that.
Yeah. So excuse me. So much of the talk has been about the offense, and rightfully so. Defensively, I never felt, once Zachary breaks off the long run and Oneida gets the lead, and especially once Oneida put the second score on the board right before the half, I never felt like, even though it was a low-scoring game, that Eagleton was a threat because of the way Oneida's defense was playing. Is it fair to say that was their best defensive performance of this young season?
I think so. And I think that's part of Coach Martin's. It's kind of the bend, don't break. Keep everything in front of you. No big plays. I mean, even Coalfield scored 33 points against this Indian defense, but if you go back and look at it, Coalfield wasn't hitting big plays. It was sustained drives, taking what the Indians would give them, which was something short, and they were making them execute. And the Yellow Jackets, they executed. Their quarterback was able to execute. They have a stable of receivers that could execute. So every team in high school doesn't have that. I think that's what Eagleton fell short with. They didn't have the number of receivers and the number of components to be able to do that consistently to put points on the board Friday.
All right, Oneida Wartburg this week, going to be a big game, Rick, as I swing over here to your side of the table. Scott High played Clinton on Friday night, came in feeling really good after the big win over Eagleton a week earlier. But Clinton had a reminder for Scott High, and that is that when you're going through rebuilding, there will be rebuilding pains and growing pains, and Scott High discovered that Friday night. Just a dominating effort by Clinton on Friday.
Coaches can put together a really good game plan. You have to go out and execute it on the field. Sometimes the players forget, and they've read all the press clippings from the week before. Oh, this was easy. Now we can just go out and do that week after week. No, you still have to line up. You still have to block, still have to tackle, still have to throw, catch, run, do all those things. And we didn't do a good job of that. Where we were so positive the week before against Eagleton, talking about how well the offensive line came out on our very first possession. Drove down the field, got the touchdown, the lead, and never looked back after that. But against a bigger school, Clinton 5A school, against a obviously more talented school, it proved that you've still got to do your work. You've got to block. You've got to do it well. You've got to get the running backs in a position where they can pick up yardage, and we did none of that on Friday night. Looking at I was hoping I wouldn't have to put my glasses on, but I will. Looking at the fact that we had 19 rushing attempts for minus 25 yards. That is not all the line, but that's a back that misses a hole. That's a back that doesn't drive hard into the hole, maybe slips and falls down. Passing, we were only 4 of 14 attempts for 23 yards. That is way below our standard that we're set in the first couple of games. We had shown the ability that we could at least throw the ball long. But Friday night, Clinton had athletes that could go back and defend against that. So it had to be a really, really, really perfect throw if we were going to capitalize on that. And at some point in time, and I try never to say this, but at some point in time, I feel like the players, and it probably got to the third quarter, something, the players felt like, why stay out here? Why put forth this effort? We couldn't win no matter what at this stage. And they may have just slacked off a little bit. And I never want to say that. I don't feel like I'm giving a young football player the encouragement that they need if I say that. But those are the things that you've got to do. Coaches talk about it all week. They get on at the end of practice. They get on the kids. Not about it's more than just, hey, you better start hydrating now, but you better prepare your mind for this. You better look at the film. You better go back and study hard because this can be a really tough game. And it proved to be an extremely tough game for the Highlanders against Clinton. And Clinton, they were with their backs against the wall. They had pretty high-scoring offense their first two games, but they also playing quality opponents. Now it gets back and it looks like, hey, based on our game with Clinton, they could be a legit contender in their own region.
Yeah.
And I just hope that this week is a chance for the young men to regroup a little bit, to gather courage and energy, to be focused this week in practice. 2 weeks ago against Eagleton, practice was very focused. Very, excuse me, they were sharp in practice. They didn't waste any time. As a matter of fact, there was one day, and I want to say it was Tuesday, they got out of practice, I think 30 or 40 minutes early because they covered everything. They covered it so quickly. And the two practices I saw last week prior to Clinton, they didn't have that crispness about them. And I think we've done a good job trying to hold Clinton down, but offensively, if you're not going to move the ball, if you cannot move the ball, and to Clinton's credit, they didn't let us move the ball, you can't move the ball, and you can't score offensively, you're just allowing the other team all those extra possessions, and it boils down to, as Tim said a while ago, the number of plays that you run. Obviously, we didn't run very many plays. You're looking at 33 plays, pass or rush plays, 33, and 27, 42. They probably have 45 plays, did Clinton. So, I mean, you have to come out. You have to execute. And if there's a message I can send to any middle school team or any high school team is, listen to your coaches, follow the plan, become ready on Friday night at 7 or 7:30, whatever game time is.
So here's the good thing. I don't think anybody's under the illusion that Clinton is better than Alcoa, okay? Not even close. But with the exception of Alcoa, Scott High's not going to play another team on the schedule this year, I don't think, that's going to be as good as the Clinton team that they saw on Friday night.
I don't think so. I'm going to look right here at the schedule just to be sure if there's anybody that I consider.
Rick's getting old, isn't he?
Yeah,
The memory's starting to fade.
I don't even try to remember things anymore. It's better if I can put it down on a piece of paper. Kingston will be a challenge, but look, that's a home game for us. Traditionally, we've had some really good close games with Kingston. The two Kentucky teams, what do we really know about them? We don't know much. I mean, so it's this week we're traveling to Barberville to take on Knox Central, and then 3 weeks from now it'll be Whitley County coming down here. So we've got one home, one away. Union County is a region game that is very winnable. Pickett County is another very winnable game. And when you get to Austin East on October 27th, actually that's October 26th because that's a Thursday night game. When we get down to there, we don't know what Austin East will be. They may have lost half their team. Matter of fact, they're coming out this week. They're 0-3 headed into their game this week. So there are wins out there. It's what we can do to put ourselves in that position, and especially to win those region games.
All right, it starts this week as Scott High gets set for their first road trip of the season, heading up, as Rick said, to Barberville, Kentucky to face Knox Central High School. We got a lot more to talk about from a football standpoint as we get deeper into the program, but first we're going to switch to soccer, and we're going to talk to a couple of Lady Highlanders right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Hellenwood. Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, I'm Ben Garrett, and we have with us a couple of Lady Highlander soccer players. We've got Rachel Garrett. I know her. She's a senior. It's the last of the 3 seniors on the Sky High team, and then we got junior Kenley Frog with us as well. So, guys, we're going to talk about the soccer season. We're going to talk about the success that you guys have had so far, but we have some unfinished business from last week to take care of because I posed a question to Ellie and Angel when they were here. They're the other 2 seniors. I said, who is the meanest senior on the team? Now, they were kind of split on that. Ellie said it was Rachel. Angel said it was Ellie. So, Rachel, this is your opportunity. Who's the meanest senior on the team?
Ellie.
Kenley?
Probably.
Just go ahead and say
Go ahead
it.
and say it.
She's across the table. She can't kick
Probably
you.
Rachel.
Yeah, I think I would. Now, I can see where people would say that Ellie is the meanest senior. But, yeah.
So we're still tied at 2-2. We'll go into next week trying to break the tie, won't we?
Yeah, still tied at 2. So let me ask you, Kenley, because they say that you're an adopted senior, even though you're just a junior. So do you get the opportunity to bark at some of those underclassmen and tell them to go fill up the water bottles or whatever?
No. No, never. I never will.
So you don't give orders?
No.
Will you next year?
Probably not. I'll make somebody else do it.
I ruined that question, didn't I?
All right, so I said last week when Ellie and Angel were on that I heard some people say that Scott High would not win a game this year. I really did hear that said. You guys roll into this 3rd week of the season, though, with a record of 3-2. So you're on the winning side of things. You're coming off of the win on Thursday against Harriman. You're 1-0 in district play with a win over Union County. Still got some tough games ahead of you, but it's been a good start. So, Rachel, let's start with you. Talk about what has gone into making this season a success so far and what you've still got to improve on to win the games that you need to win on down the line.
I feel like everybody has been really bought in on getting better and trying to help us win because we all came in knowing that we wouldn't do as good as last season. But we all come into practice every single day, ready to work and ready to get better. And before every single game, we're watching film, getting prepared for that. So that really helps.
Now, you said you won't do as good as last season. How many games did you win last season? Do you remember?
No.
I do. You won 4 last season. So how many wins have you got so far this year? 3. And we're still early.
Yeah.
So there you go. Kenley, what has been the success? What has been the story behind the success so far for Scott High soccer?
I just think that we have done better staying consistent this year. Like, once the offense got started and the defense started rotating more, we just kind of clicked.
Now, and I'm going to ask Rick and Tim to you guys jump in whenever you want to, because I guarantee you Rachel Garrett does not want to answer questions from me for 10 or 15 minutes. Kenley, you are playing a key role on the defensive side of the ball for the Lady Highlanders, and I don't think you anticipated doing that coming into the season. Maybe necessarily you would say that you're not having a very good year. I know you. But you're actually having a fantastic year, and you've become a mainstay on the defensive side. So what has gone into the consistency that you're showing on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, like you said, I really didn't expect to be, like, back in the back all the time. But I think me and Riley, we just, like, and the whole defensive line, we just click. Like, we just play off of each other. So if, like, one's not doing good, we pick up. Like, we pick each other up, and we just work.
Rachel, what is the strongest part of the team right now?
Our defense.
And why?
Because offense is not getting balls on the net. So we have to rely on defense.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because you guys, Thursday against Harriman, for example, you guys peppered their goalie with shots. But a lot of them were right in her hands, and so she's a good goalie, but she was able to make the saves. So what do you got to do to get the ball in the net?
Not kick it at the goalie.
Okay, so Kenley, as you guys are back there in the back and you're watching this thing watching it play out on the front end of the field, what are you thinking? Are you thinking these guys got to be more consistent and start to get some of these shots to go? Does that go through your head as a fullback?
It doesn't really go through my head. Like, I'm not sitting back there saying, oh my gosh, they need to do better. That's definitely not what I'm doing. I'm just sitting back there. Like, we just got to, a lot of the defense is
sending them balls, like sending through balls and stuff like that. And we don't do, like, them kicking it at the goalie is the equivalent of us kicking it to the other team when we're sending them through balls. So it's kind of just, we just think, okay, we need to lift them up. We need to try to get them to do better.
Okay, 2 big games this week. Oliver Springs first. That's tomorrow night, actually. That's at home. Seems like you guys have played all your games at home so far, and you have all but one. Oliver Springs tomorrow night at a non-district match, and then you've got Anderson County on Thursday. That's where it starts to get real because Anderson County is the defending district champion, although they've already fallen to Gibbs, so Gibbs is going to have something to say about that this year. So talk first about Oliver Springs. I'm going to let one of you take Oliver Springs, and then I want the other one to take Anderson County on Thursday. What do you got to do to come out of this week 2-0?
I think that we just need to stay consistent across, like, our offense and defense. We need to just work on the little things, like defense just, like, rotating better and getting quicker and stuff like that, and offense just working on getting balls in the net.
What do you got to do to beat Anderson County, Rachel?
We have to pass it really good. We have been passing better lately, so I think we need to keep that up and keep working on that. And then on defensive sides of things, we do not need to stab, and we need to cover the passing lanes better because we've not really been doing that very good lately. So,
that's a shot at who?
Everybody, because I've even done it.
Okay. Well, I thought you said on defense.
On defensive sides of
Okay,
things.
gotcha. Okay. So I asked the question last week, and I asked it again this week about the meanest senior, the bossiest senior. So let's flip that question around. Who's the nicest player on the Sky High soccer team?
I think the nicest, like, just overall will ask you how your day's going is probably Praley Carson. Like, she is the sweetest girl you ever meet.
She's a freshman.
So, yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
No, yeah. Don't agree. I want your take on the nicest player on the team, and it's got to be someone different.
Probably Shay Bell. She's super sweet. She always makes sure you're doing good.
Super shy, Shay Bell.
Yeah.
Then she's a freshman also.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Rick, Tim.
Well,
You go first, Rick.
okay, thanks, Tim. In my mind, this is the smallest roster that you guys have had in 2 or 3 years. Do you look at that as being better because Coach Henry's got a little more time to focus one-on-one? Because when you have 25 players on a roster and you're trying to get everybody involved in practice, it's hard for a coach to cover all these areas like that. Is it better with a little smaller roster or not?
I would say it goes both ways because we're better. Like, we can work on individual stuff more, but whenever we're trying to scrimmage each other and
Right.
get better that way, we don't have enough players a lot of times because we've all been sick or hurt or something, so we've not all really been able to practice together. So,
Good answer. Kim?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like,
Okay.
just the scrimmaging aspect. Like,
Yeah,
we don't
right.
get to do 11 on 11
Right.
as much as we want to.
And I could see where that would be a little bit of a hard thing to cover in practice because you can really only, if you only got the 19 that you've got on the roster, you can really only do, we call it half-court basketball, but this is half-field soccer
Yeah.
in that way that you can't line up and go 11 on 11. But you do like the fact that you're getting the little better individual instruction and time from the coach. Okay, good.
I've got a really important question. What's your favorite social media?
Um,
What's your go-to, the first thing you're going to post on?
Probably Snapchat or
Snapchat? Instagram. Okay, what about you, Rachel?
TikTok.
TikTok?
Yeah.
I don't see, I mean, do you have a Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Facebook? Yeah. I don't see you guys that much. I'm just curious, have y'all ever known anybody like that that overposts? It's like they post, but it's like they just are posting on Twitter or Facebook just constantly. Do you know anybody that has a problem like that needs to seek help?
Well,
I mean, you don't have to name names. I'm just saying, have you ever? It's a yes or no. Do you know
Yeah.
somebody
Like,
maybe could use
There
some?
are shots being
Yeah.
fired at someone.
Maybe could use some help. I understand. Has Cooper taken the heat off of you where you don't, now that Cooper's around, you don't have to worry about being the feature of the Facebook
yeah.
posting? Isn't
yeah.
that nice?
Yeah, it really is.
I think it is. And I think Cooper enjoys it, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I enjoy seeing the updates on
Rick,
that
you're
too.
up.
Well, you're losing me with all this mumbo jumbo there like that. I mean,
Don't talk about technology.
I do have a Twitter account. And I do Facebook. But I don't know nothing about these other things, nor do I spend a whole lot of time checking on any of that. So.
All right. So before you guys go, one last question. Not really a question. It's a request. Okay? I want, and by the way, Emma and Allie are going to be up here next, and they're going to get the same request from the Oneida side. I want one of you two guys, though, to do an Eric Henry impression before you leave.
Okay. You got it. That's you.
No.
I know you have done this a dozen times on TikTok, so come on, let's go.
Hang on, I got to think.
Oh, I have a good one.
Okay, you do it.
Crap, Rachel. Everyone in Helenwood could
Shut
hear
up.
me.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, Scott High tomorrow. We'll host Oliver. Wait, was that the impression?
Yeah.
Okay. Scott High tomorrow will host Oliver Springs at Scott High School. Kickoff is at 6 o'clock, so come out and support the Lady Highlanders. Guys, good luck tomorrow, and especially on Thursday night against Anderson County.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Lady Indians Emma Hamilton and Allie Smith. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, live from the Seamongo Technology Center in Helenwood. We're a half hour in. We've got an hour and a half to go. We invite you to come out and join us if you're in the area. This is Tim Smith. This is Rick Keaton. This is Allie Smith. No relation, by the way, I don't think.
She's related to Tim Smith, but not the.
Yes, the other Tim Smith.
Yeah, the real Tim Smith.
And Emma Hamilton. Allie and Emma, both seniors for the Oneida Lady Indian Soccer Program. And so, guys, we have talked a lot in the last couple of weeks, or last week and the first segment this week, about who has asserted themselves in the leadership role. So I'm going to jump right into it with you guys, because your coach, Phil Newport, told me at the beginning of the season, he said that among his seniors, and there's a ton of you guys who are seniors this year at Oneida, he said Rory Blevins is kind of the vocal one that kind of shows leadership, but he said he really needs some other seniors to step up. Now, both of you guys, I think, are fairly quiet when it comes to being on the soccer field. So have either of you stepped up and taken on that leadership role, or if not one of you guys, who has?
It is mostly Rory, probably. Ayla's pretty vocal in the back. And I think me and Emma both try, but half the time we don't even know what's going on because we get switched around so much that we don't necessarily know like where we're playing or what we're doing. So
you agree with that assessment?
I do.
Okay, so you guys, it was a little bit of a rough start to the season, which everybody knew it was going to be because you were playing really big schools. You were playing 3A teams and went to Gatlinburg and played a really tough schedule, but you've won 3 out of your last 4 games. You beat Stone Memorial, which is a big school. You beat Cumberland County, which is a big school. So you guys are kind of rolling right now. So is it a difference in the schedule, or is it an improvement on the field, or is it a combination of both?
I think it's both, probably, but we're just like really struggling to score, so that's the only problem that we're having.
So you're playing defense. You alluded to the fact that you've been moved around a little bit, and at one point early on it looked like you were going to be one of those offensive role players, but now you've moved back to the defensive side. Do you think that that's where you're going to be, kind of in that sweeper position for the rest of the year?
I think probably, yeah.
So do you have a preference, offense or defense?
I mean, I really like offense, but I think I probably will help the team mostly in the back.
So, and a sweeper kind of has the responsibility of covering the entire back side of the field, and if one of the other fullbacks makes a mistake, you kind of got to be there to clean that up. You've got the speed, though, I guess, to clean that up.
Yeah.
Are you the fastest player on the team?
Yeah.
Okay. Emma, how about you? You're kind of in a midfield role, right?
I'm the center defender.
Okay, well, so I was wrong. So you're playing center fullback. How about you? Do you prefer defense? You've played midfield in the past, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you prefer defense, midfield? What's your favorite spot?
I prefer defense. I just like it better.
Okay. So the same question that Ellie has already taken a stab at, the improved play over the last couple of weeks. You guys have won 3 out of your last 4. How much has the team stepped up, and how much is it just a difference in the schedule that you're playing?
I think we've started working better together, but also we've played like a little bit of easier opponents. But I think we've started to play better as a team.
Okay, you guys play Greenback tomorrow night, and then on Thursday night, remind me who you've got on Thursday night.
I don't know.
No clue? Okay.
That's what the coach wants, one game at a time.
We know you've got Greenback tomorrow night, and that is it's a district match this year, right?
So.
Yeah, I think they moved into your district. So it's a big match tomorrow night, and that game is at home. By the way, you guys play William Blount on Thursday, so there you go, another big, huge school. That is a non-district match. But tomorrow night against Greenback, big district match. What is it going to take to get the win against Greenback tomorrow night?
Just score, because I think defensively we're figuring things out, but offensively we just need to score.
Emma?
I think we need to score also.
Okay, so you guys have seen Kingston. They're considered by most folks to be the front runner in your district, and so you know that's who you've got to go through to get a district championship, and that's the goal for any team is to get a district championship. Between now and then, because you still got a while left before you got to face Kingston, what do you got to improve on to have a shot at beating Kingston?
Working better together, passing. Everything has to be sharp because Kingston's really good. So.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this? I'm just curious because I know very little about soccer, but is this still early enough in the season that these changes you're talking about are being made? Is that usually how it goes, or does this seem like it's late in the game to be changing from offense to defense and things like that, or is it about the way it goes every year?
No, about the way it goes. Yeah.
So how many goals have you given up to? I know Oliver Springs you beat. How many did they get?
I think just one.
Just one.
What about Cumberland County and Snow Memorial?
I don't think they scored any.
Yeah.
So one in those 3 games.
Yeah.
So the defense, yeah. So who do you feel like is going to be the person that does step up with this scoring? Who's going to get the opportunity, and who's going to be the one to do it?
I think Jillian Cross and Rory both. I think they work well together, and I think they're going to be scoring mostly.
I think Jillian and I think Emily will also step up some.
So Greenback is next. Who is, and you said Kingston's like the person in the
Kingston is the team
or
to beat.
not the person, but the team to beat. Okay, all right. When is that?
That's the final game of the regular season, I think.
So there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the last games of the regular season.
I want to ask, can the defense continue to carry the team? Say you don't get the scoring that everybody would like. Can the defense, is it solid enough in the back end that the defense can help win matches going forward?
I think so.
I think we could, yeah.
So I got a question for both of you about the way that your input here. First of all, anybody who knows your dad, Tim Smith, not this Tim Smith, Dr. Tim Smith, he loves to talk, right? And he's never quiet. I mean, he's always got something to say. You obviously didn't take that after him, right?
Right.
So are you more, and I don't know your mom as well,
Mm-hmm.
are you more like her? Is she a little bit quieter?
I wouldn't say she's like quiet, but she's not like overly talkative.
So basically around your house, you guys just can't get a word in for Tim, right?
I mean, yeah, we all kind of talk a lot more at home, though.
I understand. Putting these headsets on and having the camera staring, it kind of takes something out of you. So, Emma, you told us before you came on during the break that you're a little bit shy. Now, I got to ask you, you're not the only Hamilton involved in OHS athletics because you got a cousin, Anna, who is a senior on the cheerleading squad. We have cheerleaders on every week. Lauren Thompson is going to be on this week representing Oneida. Because Anna's a senior, we need to get her on here, and so far we haven't been able to get her. So can you help talk Anna into coming on this program?
I can try, yeah.
I wish you would.
Do more than try, please.
All right. Anything from you guys?
I'm out.
All right.
No, I'm out, but good luck. I mean,
Good luck, yeah.
especially
Oh,
the
wait.
district game tomorrow night.
Wait a minute. We forgot the most. I told you we were going to get to this, and I don't think either one of you are going to take me up on this, but I wish one of you guys would do a Phil Newport impression. No.
I think Coach Newport instills a little
What makes
fear
him?
there on that.
What's the one thing you know that is, if he's going to get angry, this is what he gets angry about. This is the number one thing that gets Phil Newport angry and fired up.
I feel like there's 2 things.
Okay.
When you're not trying hard and when you're not listening to what he's trying to tell you to do.
Anything else, Emma, that you want to add to that?
No, I agree with
Okay.
those.
All right. So, guys, Oneida has won 3 out of their last 4. Tomorrow night's going to be a great opportunity to make it 4 out of 5. Big district game against Greenback. That is at home also. Tell me what time that kicks off. Is it 6:30?
I think so.
I think it is, yeah. 6:30 tomorrow night at Jane Terry Hoffman Field. So if you have an opportunity tomorrow night, get out and support the Lady Indians. Allie Smith, Emma Hamilton, thank you guys for joining us, and good luck tomorrow night. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will switch back to football as we're going to talk to a couple of Oneida freshmen, or a freshman and a sophomore right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, along with Tim Smith and Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett. Thank you for being with us as we are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood, and we're joined now by our first National Bank player of the game, Ben Gilbert. He's a sophomore, and our Trophy Masters lineman of the game, Eli Jordan Sexton. He's a freshman, and guys, for the first time, at least in the last couple of seasons, for the first time, our 4 game superlatives, our first National Bank players of the game, and our Trophy Masters lineman of the game, all freshmen or sophomores. So pretty cool. And Ben Gilbert, you've been having a heck of a season on the defensive side of the football. And I don't know, when I sat down and talked to Coach May and the rest of the Oneida coaches and Mark Martin at the first of the season, and they're talking about all these different names, and certainly your name came up. But I don't remember them saying this is going to be the guy that's going to have a breakout year for us. But as a sophomore, that is exactly what you've done so far early in the season. So congratulations on a great start to the season. And, Tim, I'll just let you jump in and take it.
Well, and I mean, Eli, I think if you can come out of nowhere and just play a great game, I think that's kind of what happened. I don't think we were expecting Eli to be here tonight either, but just your play against Eagleton and the force you played with and the disruption you were in the backfield on Thursday night, it was a big deal on a big defensive night when Oneida needed it. So I'm going to start with Ben. And Ben, so you play some offensive snaps, you play some defensive snaps, but our usual formations don't include a fullback a lot, right?
Sure.
So you're getting more time on the defensive side of the football now. Is there one side you prefer over the other one?
Defense,
It
definitely.
is. Is it just because you're playing it more, or?
I just like it better. I'm not an offensive guy at all.
Okay.
Never. I don't know. You can Coach May might even tell you that I'm not much of an offensive guy. Definitely defense.
But you are the starting fullback.
Sure.
Yeah. So now, were you in on the play on 4th and 1 when? Okay, and so you were blocking, and Jesse gets the glory for that one, right? But here you're sitting here, right? Jesse's probably upset about that. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm sure we'll see him before the year's over. Talk about the offense. You had the 28 points in the first half against Rockwood, and then things kind of went silent for a while. And then you had a couple of touchdowns in the first half this week, and then it's another kind of miss in the 2 quarters. What do you feel like is the misfire for the offense right now?
Definitely a run game. We're just missing blocking assignments. I mean, that's all it is. We're really young, so I think that comes with it. But if we can get our blocking assignments this week, I think the running game will definitely benefit us because we need to get that going. So.
Okay. So Eli, are you both sides of the football too? Just defense?
Just defense.
All right. So do you like just focusing on the one right now?
Yes, sir.
And I think probably someday you'll be both sides of the football. Usually that's how this works out. But you're playing a defensive tackle right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So who's your defensive line coach?
Actually, we have 3: Coach Creighton, May, Coach West, and then Coach Martin.
All right. And what are some of the things that they have been telling you that you're executing on, that you're doing, that's the reason they're putting you on the field? What are you doing that they've been saying you need to do this and you're doing it?
I'm just doing like brute force to the players, so to get to the backfield pretty easily.
Yeah, just driving people backward. I remember seeing that quite a few times there on Thursday night. So is that something? Did you play much in the first game?
No, sir.
So was this past game the most playing time you've had?
Yes, sir.
And probably, I think you've played your way to a lot more too, right? So,
yes, sir.
Was there a particular player on their line that you seemed to have the number of, or was it different guys you were manhandling there?
It was mostly 55 or like 52 on there.
Okay. Was that one of the click 55? Do you remember? You probably didn't ask his name. You were just busy putting him on the ground.
I think it was.
It was it? Yeah. I mean that. So now two guys on their line that they talked a lot about were Tyson Click and his brother, and I think Tyson was 55. So that's a pretty significant job to be able to handle him, because I think he was actually thrown out of their first game, didn't get to play the second game, and so but he was a big disruptor there the other night. So, Ben, I know one of the things that you did defensively on Thursday that Mark and John have been talking about, wanting to see getting your hands up in the passing lane, and you deflected a pass. Is that something that you just had the opportunity to? You're always trying to do that, or is it certain times? What's that like?
They were RPOs, so they pull their guard, and you just the quarterback would look there every time. So you eventually just saw it and picked up on it, but. No, keeping the arms up hasn't been something to think of. But, I guess I just basketball instincts or something, just got my hands out there. I don't know.
Yeah, just like Coach King always probably saying, keep your hands up because you never know, good things can happen. So you guys, your coaches have you reading keys each week on what's going on? Is that tough to follow? I mean, thinking and playing and, to me, it's that combination. Has it become an instinct yet? Are you still having to think about it or are you just doing it?
Starting to think about it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been an instinct yet.
Okay. Well, 3 games in, right? So I bet you it does become an instinct before long, especially with the way you've been playing. So you've got an extra day this week, but we know this week those 3 games were important, but being this week it's going to be a region game. Talk about the importance. You're a sophomore. You've seen region before, and talk about the importance and the difference, the elevation of the level of a region game.
It just more significance because I think we're in a pretty good region. So every region game matters, every win matters, whether it's region or not. Coach May talks about, I believe it was 2 years ago, there's a 3-way tie. Mm-hmm. So, they had to just look at the records. So every win matters, whether it's region game or not. So that's why I look at it. But definitely it's a region game. You got to focus up more.
Eli, do you feel like this week's a little bit more intense coming in? How are you going to approach that? What are you going to have to do? We know what you did well. What's something you don't feel like you did as well that you need to improve on?
I need to improve, when I go through the line, I need to, stop where the quarterback is from going upfield.
Okay.
And reading my keys better.
Got to contain?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, you played middle school last year?
Yes, sir.
So you came from a pretty big success rate there in middle school playing for Coach Terry. What was that like?
It was nothing like high school.
Nothing like high school. What's the biggest difference?
Well, they're just weaker linemen, and then when you go to high school, you still see the same people from Rockwood or Cofield from middle school.
So now tell me, who's one of the upperclassmen that has been kind to you? I know it used to be a lot of times a freshman would come in and some of the upperclassmen, they didn't treat freshmen too well. Who's somebody that's been good to you?
Probably Ben.
Ben has?
He's not an upperclassman, is he?
He's the older player.
He's one class up, so it makes him an upperclassman.
Ben, was there somebody that made you feel comfortable? That
Elijah Phillips played linebacker last year. Mm-hmm. I like watching him. Sometimes I still go back and watch film, just watch what he does. I did that this offseason, just watch what he did, try to mimic some of that. He was really, really good at All-State.
Yeah, it's nice to have somebody that you can rely on that's watching out for you, right? It builds that team camaraderie, and that's a good thing. So, what are you expecting this week, Eli? What do you think's going to be the situation? It's a big game. It's at home. It's homecoming, right? I know Coach May's worried everybody's going to get distracted about homecoming. You guys weren't in school today. You're not in school tomorrow, right?
Yes,
and so you're really only going to have 3 days of school and then this game on Friday night. Do you feel like it's going to be a distraction for you?
Probably not.
Yep. Not that into it? The homecoming part of it?
Not really.
Just ready for football?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, Ben, what do you think?
No, I'll be focused on the game. I want to win so bad. I don't really care about the other stuff. I'll be waiting until 7:30. That's all I'll be thinking about all day.
All right. Well, now it's a pretty important game. I mean, you look at the region that we're in, and Wartburg. I mean, I don't want to say it's a must-win, but if you aren't able to get Wartburg, things are going to be really dicey as far as being able to make the playoffs. So, have you looked at film? Do you know what's the threat for Wartburg?
They got a big line, really good quarterback. He can make plays like Eagleton's quarterback could. He can scramble whenever he needs to. And they got a good wide receiver, I believe number 6, Queenie. Played him in basketball too.
Yeah.
He's really well.
Landon.
Yeah. So that's probably the 3 things you just got to look out for. They're pretty big.
All right, Eli, what do you feel like is going to be your main focus then on Friday? Is it just the containment of that quarterback?
Yes, sir.
You're going to keep him contained. We're going to watch you. Now, you're wearing 65, right? And I don't know if you watched the replay or not, but one of the guys that does the games with me, it's not somebody important, but it's Mark Matthews. He was all bragging about you wearing 65. Do you know why that is?
Why?
That's what he used to wear. Yeah. So,
but that was a long time ago.
That was like back in the late 80s.
You make 65 look a lot better than
Yeah,
40.
yeah. This is a much more dominant looking 65. Yeah, you're doing great. So, but I think that really excites him to see his old number because I know it does because he mentioned it was the first thing he said. Yeah, this looks good in that 65. So, but it's really exciting to see you young guys. Making it here tonight. I mean, and becoming leaders on this team and helping because you're going to have to, because we talked about the line, how young it is and how important it is. And so I think you all have grown up and improved each week in the things that you do, and you'll need it this week against Wartburg too. What about just each one of you, just one more question. What's a coach that gets really angry and what really makes them angry? Who's one? Eli?
Coach West.
Coach West, Sean West.
Yes,
yep.
Sir.
What is it? When you're not on the bus on time, or
it's just like, just like when you're like lining down incorrectly or when like doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Just screams.
Is he scary?
No, not really.
Okay, good. We won't. Good. I don't want him to be scary, but he gets you in position, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Who is it, Ben?
Definitely Coach Martin. Not reading keys. That's one thing that'll get him going.
Yep. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's good. You guys got any questions before we?
I've enjoyed it. I wish you all very best of luck this week.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, Ben Gilbert, our first National Bank Player of the game. By the way,
yes.
When Ben Gilbert was about that tall,
yeah,
I don't remember what grade that was, but
that tall.
That tall.
That was sort
if
of
you're going from the ground or from the
there.
table. I mean,
listen, don't lose sight of what I'm talking about here. Okay, stop. His dad and I coach. Okay, I'll use the word coaching loosely, but we coached his junior pro basketball team. So as Ben Gilbert becomes a high school athlete, I just want you to remember, Tim, while you're calling his games, that I taught him everything that he knows. Okay. Okay.
Sure, yes.
Ben Gilbert, our first National Bank Player of the game. Eli Jordan Sexton, our Trophy Masters lineman of the game. Guys, congratulations on a big game last week, and hopefully we keep it rolling this week.
Now, I think we got a shirt here for Eli, too.
Yes, we do.
So we need to show that shirt off here in a minute.
Yeah, and as Player of the game, Ben, you will have something from First National Bank a little bit later on as well. All right, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk to our Scott High superlatives from Friday night's game against Clinton right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network as we begin the second half of tonight's 2-hour program. We are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Hellenwood. Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you to Gage Privet and Israel Turner for being with us as well, both freshmen for Scott Highlanders, and both had big games on Friday night. Israel was our first National Bank Player of the game from its cornerback position, and Gage was our Trophy Masters lineman of the game. Now, that's a little bit – you're not a true lineman, but you're defensive end, so – basically the same thing. You're on that D-line. So but both had big games on Friday, and Israel, I got to tell you, when you were running that kickback. Now, Harris Keaton at one time, and I don't know if you've met Harris Keaton yet or not. That's Rick's brother.
He's met him. He's a guy that's ball at practice every day.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when Harris Lynn Keaton held the kickoff. You correct me if I'm wrong. He at one time held the record for the longest kickoff return at Scott High, I think.
Yes.
Now, he said that when you were running the ball back on that kickoff return that you had, and you're showing off those shifty moves, he said he could do that back in the day. I don't know, Rick. Do you think he could?
No. You give him the ball and a path straight ahead. He was fine.
And I said both you guys are freshmen, and Gage is actually brand new to the Highlander program from McCreary County. His dad, Eric, joining the program as an assistant coach this year, and as I said already, a big game, Rick, he had on the defensive end position on Friday night.
He did. When we look at our first National Bank Player of the game, sometimes it's the body of work, or sometimes it's the exciting play. And Israel turned in the exciting play on the kickoff return. I think it went about 26 yards. But when you were trying to cut right and sort of in the middle of the field, and you ran into about 4 red-shirted Highlanders,
yes, sir.
That might have prevented a touchdown, your own players getting in your way.
Yes, sir.
Can you outrun them or tell them just to get out of the way next time?
I can do both.
Okay, there you go. I thought you might say the outrun part there like that, but and also you've been getting a lot of time, the first 3 games, at the defensive corner position.
Yes,
I feel that you're there because of the speed, and the H component, man, is the fact that Israel's not afraid to come up and tackle somebody hard, are you?
No, sir.
Do you enjoy the defensive side of the ball so far?
Yeah, I've liked it so far. I think I fit it well.
Right. In future seasons, you'll also probably be an offensive receiver.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a preference one way or the other?
I like both sides of the ball. If I play it well, I like it.
Can you be a player who can be on the field, maybe this year and maybe certainly in the future, who can be on the field for everything, offense, defense, punt return, kickoff, punt team? Can you be that type of player who can be on the field all the time?
If they need me to, I can play whatever they need me.
I got a feeling you do that right now.
Yes, sir.
Gage coming in from Macquarie Central. What's the difference in we know nothing about the offense and defense that you played in middle school. What's the difference coming down to Scott High and playing here? What is the biggest difference between that step from an 8th grader to a freshman?
Well, I've not played since my 7th grade year,
Okay.
so it is a lot different from playing middle school kids to big varsity players that played on Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the speed is just in the height and the strength.
I mean, you're not a big physical specimen yet. You may get that way, but when you look across there and you see the big line that Clinton had maybe coming out and they're going to run some, and they've got linemen pulling in front of them like that. What do you think about Israel? Attack that, take out that pulling lineman, or try to work around him and get to the tackle?
I'm going to work around him. I ain't trying to run through him or nothing.
I like that. What's the change for you? You had all the speed in the world. If I'm not mistaken, may have played quarterback at Birchfield.
Yes, sir.
What's the step up from the 8th grade to the freshman year for you like?
High school is just different. You got people that are taller, you got people that are stronger, you got people that are faster. So you just got to adjust,
Tim asked Ben a while ago, who's the fastest? Are you the fastest player on the Highlander team?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to get you in trouble or anything at all like that. Gage, maybe this year you won't get in offensively, but do you, when the time comes, maybe as your sophomore season comes, do you have any problems with playing on both sides of the ball on Friday nights?
I'll just have to get more in shape for it, of course, but it is a bit nerve-wracking, of course, to play a varsity quarterback, but I think I can work up to it, yeah.
Your father, Eric's an assistant coach for the Highlanders.
Mm-hmm.
When you leave the practice field in the vehicle going home, is he still all about football and all about practice, or does he let up a little bit and you talk about Green Acres or something like that?
Nah, football never stops with us. We just constantly talk about it, yeah.
And you have no problem with your dad just coaching you 24 hours a day?
It does get tiring sometimes.
Okay.
But I'm kind of used to it.
I wasn't trying to throw any shade to Eric's way up right there, but Eric's also a first-year coach in the Highlander program. Last week against Clinton, couldn't seem to get anything going from a line standpoint. Couldn't seem to stop them. They had several sustained drives there. What do we clean up this week? What can we improve on the most? I'll want both of you to answer this. What can we improve on the most that helps with our chances as we go up to Knox Central, Kentucky?
For Clinton, we had a problem with just one person coming in and hitting them and nobody else swarming the ball, I guess.
No pursuit to the ball.
Yeah. And we need to work on wrapping up probably because he was just breaking tackles.
Ankles and
Yeah.
How would you
I think we just need to our defense we just lack the defense sometimes. And we get down on ourselves when we start to lose. We kind of give up, and it's like, oh well, we tried. I think we just need to stop being, down all the time and just kind of play the game.
It's this next question. It's not fair that I ask it of y'all because neither one of you play on offense right now. But offensively, the success against Eagleton was the fact that the line could come out and move people and that the backs ran hard. didn't get that against the Clinton team. Do you think that has been an emphasis of practice today, that the offense has to do more to block people and to get the run game more established?
For sure, yeah.
I would say so too, yeah.
Like I say, you spend all your time defensively there, like that, so it wasn't a real fair question. What do you look forward to in terms of the road trip? You've only had home games, Israel. This road trip up to Barberville, Kentucky for you, what are you looking forward to, or what maybe excites you, or what are you apprehensive about?
Probably just laying down and going to sleep.
Oh. Anything stand out for you, Gage?
I'm ready to go there and like prove a point, that we are the real deal,
Yeah, we can win games too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That would, with a win there, that would equalize the Highlander record with 2 wins, 2 losses. Because the following week, next week, it's our first region game against Kingston. So it would be nice to have a little bit of momentum going into that first region game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it would definitely get us up there, get our hop up and everything.
Guys?
No, just hang on, Tim.
Okay.
You know what I used to look forward to about road trips, and especially the first one of the season? You get to go somewhere new and eat, But since COVID, that's out because by the time the game's over, everywhere is closed. Yeah. And so you might get a McDonald's drive-thru, which we've already got here.
Or they may get a sandwich on the bus.
No, I'm glad I had to wait for that. I've just got 2 quick questions.
I just had to make that point while I was thinking
good,
about
yes. Yep. So 2 quick questions. Gage, so do you play any other sports, just football?
I play basketball too.
What's your position, basketball?
Usually center.
Yeah, usually center. What about coming to a new school? Can you name somebody? This always fascinates me. I ask the same questions. I apologize, but like, who is somebody that's made you feel welcome coming in as a Highlander? Who's been the guy?
Definitely Gage Myers.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good to have somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now, Israel, what about you? You football only, or you play other sports?
I played basketball and soccer.
Basketball, soccer? You
Yes,
did
sir.
in middle school?
Yes, sir.
So when your picture got posted that you were player of the game,
Yes, sir.
did you read the comments?
Yes, sir.
All right, I did too. And there was, if you haven't read the comments, there was a lady that commented about how you were kind to her son when you were at Birchfield, and how he looked up to you, and how you always took time. She said he probably aggravated him to death, but he took time, and it meant everything to her son. And that is awesome. I just want to say, I read that and I thought, that's exactly the kind of person I would hope my son would be for other people. So you obviously kind of have this welcoming attitude. Who's somebody from the high school team that's treated you well?
I wouldn't say there's specifically anybody. I mean, everybody's just nasty, They're, when you're down, they pick you up like a team's supposed to be.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just wanted to comment on that. If people hadn't read that, they need to know that you're, you meant a lot to a lot of people, and keep doing that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I asked the soccer girls when they were here earlier. I don't think you guys were in the room yet, but I asked the soccer girls to do an impression of their coach. And the Scott High girls, they obliged me, and they tried. It was weak, but they tried. The Oneida girls would not do it at all. And Billy Hall is sitting back here, so maybe this is not fair. Either one of you guys want to give a shot at a Billy Hall impersonation?
I think I'm going to have to pass. Yeah.
Well, how about an Eric Privet impersonation? Because he's an assistant coach. Can you do that now?
That'll be even worse, I think.
How about it, Israel?
I think I'll pass on that one.
All right. Yeah, that is a little bit unfair. It's hard to do it with your coach sitting right back there. So, all right. So, Israel Turner, our First National Bank player of the game, and Gage. By the way, Gage, we got a T-shirt for you before you leave from Trophy Masters for being the lineman of the game. Congratulations to both of you guys on an outstanding play Friday night. Good luck this Friday night as you head up to Barberville.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to pick some games and look ahead to this Friday. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, live from the C. Michael Lake Technology Center in Helenwood. We are joined by a couple of cheerleaders. We got senior from Scott High, Abby Hill, and an Oneida junior, Lauren Thompson. And Rick and Tim, I told you that I'm not – Tim makes me feel stupid every time I ask a cheerleader question, and he says I ask the same questions over and over. Take it away, guys.
Rick, you want to ask first? Or? You go ahead.
Why don't you go ahead?
I'll go ahead. Okay. Lauren.
Yes.
Lauren Thompson. Lauren, so Ben just asked you if your dad played.
Yes.
Yes, he did, didn't
Yes,
he?
he did play.
What was your dad's number?
25.
That is excellent. Excellent. That's
I
correct.
believe I remember that.
Yeah,
as a matter
John,
of fact.
your dad, he had a key moment when Oneida won the Clinic Bowl. Do you know what that was?
Yes, the interception.
To seal the game.
She is an excellent
What about that?
cheerleading daughter.
How much does he talk about that?
Not very much. I've seen some of his plays. He's shown
Yeah.
me some of them.
Yeah.
But I've seen his championship rings. That's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Does he wear that often?
No.
No, he just keeps it put
Yeah.
up? Okay.
Mom keeps it put up, but
Don't want to get the big head, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Don't be walking around with
Rick's
it.
turn.
All right. Emma, are you a senior?
Yes.
At Scott High, of course. And have you cheered all 4 years?
Yes.
Who are the other seniors in the cheer squad? Because I think there's only 3 of you.
No, it's me and Braylon Berg, and that's
Just
it.
2 of you.
Yes.
I call out the cheerleaders every Friday night sometime during the broadcast, and I look at the list, and there's 2 seniors. There are no juniors. There's a whole bunch of sophomores.
There's 10 juniors and no sophomores.
10 juniors and no sophomores.
Yes.
I mean that's quite an unusual thing,
Yeah.
and because I look at them as like a football team, there needs to be
Yeah.
stepping stones coming up there like that. Who is the cheerleader? Whether it be you 2 as seniors or is it the juniors? Who's the big leader on the cheer squad?
Definitely the seniors because, well, obviously there's 3 freshmen this year, and then the juniors, they're all scattered out. So some of them only have cheered for 1 year and 2 years. So I definitely feel like me and Braylon are definitely the leaders of the pack.
Well, that's good. Do you look forward to taking the first road trip of the season, going to Barberville?
Yes. I love away games personally because I feel like we get to go out and experience what like other schools feel like in their environment. So.
Okay. Lauren, now what year are you?
I'm a junior this
You're
year.
a junior this year? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you
I
cheered,
said that if you'd listened to
have
what
you
I
cheered
said.
for 3 years?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever play any other sports besides cheering?
Not really. I danced when I was little, and I
Okay.
did soccer for 1 year. And then I guess 5th grade came around, and they were like talking about cheer tryouts. And then I just decided to do that.
What was it about soccer that was just like, nah, I can do without that?
I guess it was just like I've always been like a little like girly girl, so then
Okay.
I was just like I really want to dress up and just cheer for teams and stuff.
All right. Did your mom cheer?
Yes, she
Was she a
did.
cheerleader? Yeah, in high school, college, or
Just like middle school and high school.
middle school and high school? Okay.
Yeah,
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say my grandma cheered too, so it's just kind of like a family thing.
Oh, yeah, so it's handed down. All right. So, do you have a preference, football, basketball?
I really like the excitement of football games, but I love like I guess interacting with the crowd during basketball games.
Okay.
So that's really fun.
Yeah, the student section maybe. I mean, they're pretty rowdy in both, right?
Yeah.
I know the Coonskin Crazies have a big section too and have rules. I watched the rules last week and everything. So yeah, but the student section, I think that's something that's more recent too for the schools. I mean, that's not always been there. How much do you feed off of the student section?
A pretty good amount. They kind of like hop us up, and we try to interact with them.
Okay, all right, Rick.
Student section is real good. The last couple of years, our football and then also our basketball student sections have been probably some of the best in my memory. What about our football student section? I know they were rowdy in the Eagleton game. And, of course, last week it's hard to keep everybody up there like that. But tell us something about our student section.
They definitely know how to keep up the spirit. I feel like we do a lot of cheers with them that they learn because we'll teach them it beforehand so they know what to do with that. And I definitely think they're a really good student section. So
We had a couple of cheerleaders, I think last week, could have been the week before, talk about maybe dance. Or either one of you in taking dance classes?
Hell yeah, I'm not.
Oh, so it's 100% cheerleading and no dancing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. Which one of the juniors, or 2 or 3 if you want to, Emma, do you think will be the step up
Abby.
for the leader next season?
Definitely.
Oh, Abby, I'm sorry.
Okay, definitely Gracie Gray and Priley Sexton because they've been the 2 longest juniors on the team. and then probably Leslie Boatright also. So I definitely think those three are going to be in the leader positions next year because they're very involved with the cheer squad, I feel like.
And so you think you're going to hand it off, you and Braylon going to hand it off, Abby, to capable leaders for the next year?
Possibly, yes, I feel like.
Possibly, okay.
Yes.
So, and just a couple more quick things, Lauren. One, who's your cheer coach?
Our cheer coach is Abby Sexton.
What makes her mad? Anything? Does she get mad? Is she like a coach that gets mad, or just?
Not really.
No,
she
doesn't
just
yell.
She doesn't really yell at us, but she just wants us to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to.
Okay. And the second thing is, I want you to know I'm leading the picks. We're about to do picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to name the cheerleader that was sitting next to me last week. She made me go 7-3.
Oh.
Okay. So I need you to help me go 10-0 so I can hold off these people. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do this week.
Okay.
Okay.
I only dream of 10-0. I don't think there's a possibility I can ever do 10-0 because I'm too wild out there like that. Abby, on the road, do the cheerleaders stop and eat any place after the game? I know the football team, they
That's not a
take.
dumb question. Sorry, go ahead.
Football
I'm having a
team doesn't get to
conversation
do
over
that. They get sandwiches right off the bus. So as cheerleaders.
We don't go as a team because we ride with our parents to the game.
Okay.
So most of the time you do see each other at a restaurant afterwards, but not together really.
Okay.
So
Tim made fun of me for talking about stopping to eat. So that's,
Well,
okay.
When we're on road trips, you stop someplace to eat after a game.
Absolutely. I don't miss
that's what I thought.
Absolutely. All right. So, guys, do you ever watch College Game Day on ESPN on Saturday mornings? Probably not. Okay. So, at the end of College Game Day, they bring on celebrities, right, to help pick the winners of that day's games. That's your all's purpose here is to pick the winners. You're the celebrities.
Okay.
And you're going to help us pick the winners of this week's games, okay?
Okay.
So, let's jump right into it. Now, we're going to start off with our local games, and I'm not asking Tim or Rick. I'm not going to put them on the spot because they're always going to pick the home team. They're homers. That's what they do. But I am going to ask you guys. But before we get to that, Rick, we've talked about – sorry,
I'm Tim.
You're
Yes.
Tim.
I'm Rick.
Yeah, Rick,
You
sorry.
want to start with me first?
No, I'm going to
Go
start
back
with
to
Tim.
okay.
We talked about the Oneida Wartburg game. What does Oneida have to do? If you were naming, let's say, 3 keys to the game to beat Wartburg on Friday night and get that district win, what does Oneida have to do?
Well, I think your freshman Eli said it. He's got to keep that quarterback contained because he's mobile, and they've got to get to him. They can get to him. It's just, can he get out of the containment, and can they disrupt him? He's very good. Our corners are good, so I think that'll hold up. But you can't give him extended time, let him extend plays. So I think defensively it's going to be all about trying to contain him and make him uncomfortable.
All right. So, Lauren, if you had to pick a winner out of Wartburg and Oneida, who are you going with on Friday?
Probably Oneida.
Yeah, you're not going to pick against Oneida.
Yeah.
How about it, Abby? Would you pick Oneida or would you pick Wartburg?
I'd probably pick Oneida.
Okay, good pick. I think I would agree with you guys. I think it's going to be Oneida big on Friday. Probably big is not safe to say, though, is it? Because those are always tough games, one of those games where you just throw the records and everything out the window.
I mean, until we, establish a running game, there's not going to be a big win.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to.
Yeah.
So, Rick, the same question. Scott High goes up to Barberville on Friday to face Knox Central. And it's a little bit unfair. Tim is extremely familiar with Wartburg. They're 30 minutes down the road. We know very little about Knox Central, Kentucky. But what are some things Scott High has to do on Friday night to get the win?
I think statistically, and I looked at their offensive numbers for the first 3 games, it seems to me like they rely on running the ball. So obviously our defensive front and linebackers have to be very active, box in the holes right there, shut down their run game. And I think if we make them one-dimensional and force them to pass, that gives our secondary a little better chance. And, of course, I want to follow that up and say, we better be able to run the ball too.
All right. So, Abby, Scott versus Knox Central, first road game of the season. Are you taking the Highlanders on Friday?
Yes.
All right. Lauren, would you agree with her?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we're in agreement then. Scott over Knox Central, Oneida over Wartburg. Let's get to the rest of these region games that are coming up. And this is the first week of region play. There were a few region games last week, but this is the first week everybody really jumps into region play. York Institute is playing at Bledsoe County. So, Tim Smith, York or Bledsoe?
Yeah, I'm going to let Lauren. What do you think? Which one is named after a World War I hero?
Gosh.
Which school is named after a World War I hero? Bledsoe County or York Institute?
I'm going to go York.
Yes, I agree with her.
That's a pretty good pick, I think. Rick?
By the way, I picked against York the first 2 games I've got. I'm not going to let them beat me anymore.
Rick,
York.
I'm going to tell you.
York.
Okay, so I know someone on the pick'em panel picked Bledsoe County. One person picked Bledsoe County this
Was
week.
it Tim?
No, it was your brother, H.L. Keaton. And I did think, what in the world is Harris thinking, picking Bledsoe County over York? So I think York's going to win big.
Well, when you get desperate, you start going out for upsets.
Is it at York?
No, I think
it is at Bledsoe. Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's dead. Okay, so Abby, would you agree with Rick or would you agree with his younger brother Harris? Is it going to be York or is it going to be Bledsoe County?
I'll have to agree with Rick. I feel like it's York.
We're in agreement. So
Thank you, Abby.
We're 5-0 on that. It's going to be York over Bledsoe County. The only other game in Oneida's region this week is Polk County at Tellico Plains. Now, Tim, Tellico Plains is a team that some folks thought maybe you got to look out for, especially after they opened the season by absolutely blasting Eagleton. I think they put 47 up, but they have really taken it on the chin in a couple of games since then. So what do you think?
Neither Lauren nor I thought Tellico Plains was going to be that good this year, did we, Lauren?
No, we didn't.
No, we were Polk County tonight on this next one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with him? Don't let him answer for you.
Oh, I agree with him.
Okay. All right. So, Rick,
We'll go with that.
Polk County or Tellico Plains?
Every time I think I've sort of gone with Tellico Plains, and I've not won any time I've ever picked them. So, who's the home team?
That would be Polk County.
I'll go Polk
No,
County.
I'm sorry. It's Tellico Plains.
I'll still go Polk County.
How about it, Abby?
I'll go Polk County.
Okay, so I'm going to agree with you guys. Polk County, they played McMinn Central last week, and they got beat, but it was a tight ball game, 46-41. So, yeah, I'm in agreement there, too. So, Polk County over Tellico Plains. All right, so no dissenters yet so far. Let's switch over to Scott High's region, Region 2, 3A, and we'll start with what might be the biggest game in East Tennessee, Rick. Alcoa traveling up to Greenville this week. What do you think?
Well, pretty much I ride the train with Alcoa. And Greenville, they're a good team too. Don't get me wrong. 3A against the 4A team. Greenville's very tough up there on their field. By the way, I love the field, and I really love the press box up at Greenville, far more so than I do at Alcoa.
Billy, are you paying attention?
Alcoa has an extra chip on their shoulder. It's been a few years since they played Greenville. I think Greenville won the last time they played. So Alcoa, they seek revenge really well.
How about it, Abby?
I'm going to go Alcoa.
Alcoa, the 8-time defending state champion. Looks like they're on their way to 9 in a row, by the way. So, Lauren, would you say Alcoa over Greenville?
Probably Alcoa over Greenville.
Did Tim tell you to say, is that okay with Tim?
Yeah, is that what you want, Tim?
I'm with you, Lauren.
Okay.
I was wondering. Lauren's dad was 1-1 against Alcoa. Not many people could say they had a 50% win percentage against Alcoa.
Isn't that the truth?
Well, that was a long time ago.
It's been a while.
Kingston at Union County. Now, there were some folks on our panel this week that thinks that Union County is going to beat Kingston, and I think that Tim Smith – Tim picked Kingston.
No, he's not.
Okay, sorry, Tim.
Are you sure that game's not at Kingston?
Well, let's flip it. Let's just say it is. I mean, I don't think anybody cares.
Okay.
So, Union County at Kingston.
I care because Kingston is a good team at home. I'll still pick Kingston.
How about it, Abby? Kingston or Union County? This is a big game. Could be a playoff spot on the line.
I'm probably going to say Union County.
I like it. Somebody finally taking the different side. I like that. Good bold pick. How about it, Lauren?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Just whatever you think, Lauren. Whatever you think.
Okay.
Is it Kingston?
No, it's
Kingston?
Kingston.
Kingston.
Yes,
Kingston.
I agree with Lauren.
Yeah.
All right, so Kingston.
I started saying I thought
We
I
vote
read
in the block.
Kingston.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
All right, so we're 4-1 because I'm sorry, Abby, I got to take Kingston in that one over Union County this week. And the final game, next to final game, Gatlinburg at Austin East. Now let me tell you, Rick, Austin East put 51 points on the board Friday night against South Thule. Some folks thought Austin East might not even make the playoffs, but they put up 51. South Thule's down a little bit this year compared to what they have been the last couple of years, but that was still impressive. So what are you thinking?
Well, South Thule, they fell off a little bit last year, and I don't think that they have gotten past the Clark Duncan coaching cycle there like that. I like the fact that Austin East can score a lot of points. Howsoever, Gatlinburg Pittman, prior to last week, thought they were a big deal. And I think they'll want to go out and reestablish the big deal this week. So I pick GP.
Okay, Gatlinburg.
Where do you like to vacation? Gatlinburg
vacation?
would you rather go Gatlinburg or like East Knoxville?
Probably Gatlinburg.
I agree with I'm with Lauren.
They have a lot of stuff.
Does anybody vacation in East Knoxville?
No, I mean, you could.
Tim has got to. Tim's got to take over the things. I'm sorry, Abby.
It's okay.
He's stealing your screen time. Are you taking Gatlinburg or Austin East?
I'll go Gatlinburg.
Okay, I agree with that pick. Lauren, what does Tim want you to pick on this one?
Gatlinburg.
I agree.
We're going Gatlinburg.
I'm with Lauren.
Okay, so Gatlinburg. We're in agreement then. Gatlinburg over Austin East. By the way, is it the final game of the season? Scott High goes to Austin East.
Final game. It'll be a Thursday night game.
Over to Cherry Street. Always a fun environment over there.
They
Great band.
probably won't have a parade blocking the streets or anything this year, but it's the fact that you just got to go over there, and there's some stigma in the back of my mind about traveling over there.
Well, but you know what? Though, once we get inside, they treat us better than anybody.
Yeah, they treat us very well. And if you're like you mentioned H a while ago, something about the chicken wings that they fix there. So, I mean, you may not have to eat after the game if you're in for barbecue chicken wings.
One thing about these guys, I figured out over the last couple of seasons, it doesn't matter where we go, Rick and Harris knows what to expect out of the press box and what kind of food that they're going to have sitting there. And so I haven't enjoyed the game.
They don't have chicken wings in the press box.
Oh, so you got to buy them.
Oh, yeah. They won't give away the primo thing. I mean, people line up just to get the chicken
I was
wings.
starting to look forward to that, Rick. That's kind of a
I'm sorry.
All right, so Lauren Thompson and Abby Hill, thank you guys for joining us and helping us pick these games. We're going to be watching on Friday night to see how close you guys are. I think that you, with the exception of Union County, you're in unison with Rick. You had no choice but to be in unison with Tim because he made you. So let's see how these games go on Friday.
No, it was volunteered.
Yeah. I mean, just because he was showing his phones.
No, he was showing. That was not it.
Oh,
That was not
I
it.
got a text message.
Yeah, he got a text message, and I was just being nosy. Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Billy Hall will be joining us for our Legend of the Game segment. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, our final segment of the night. Rick Heaton, it's time for our Legend of the Game segment, and for the past couple of weeks we have seen Tim sit down with Tori Slavin and Shea West from that great 2008 Oneida semifinal team, and so this week we're going to switch to the other side and we're going to talk to a Scott High legend. Billy, I don't know how you feel about being called a legend, but you pretty much are. So former Scott High quarterback, former Reinhardt quarterback, current professional quarterback, current Scott High assistant coach, and current Scott High interim head coach, I guess, too, Billy Hall.
Billy Hall.
What I leave out?
Matter of fact, there's a wall of fame inside the dressing room now that Billy Hall came up with the idea and created it. And his Reinhardt picture that you posted on, I guess, Facebook today is hanging there on the wall with his jersey number and everything for playing at Reinhardt. Billy played high school ball 2013 to 2016 at Scott High. You had the single game passing record, 398 yards, single game total yards record, 471 yards, and the single game touchdown record there of 7 touchdowns. We're going to come back to that. I want to keep, you sent this to me, so I've got to make everybody aware of it. At Reinhardt University from 2017 to 2021, a 4-year captain, quarterback on the team, single game total yards record, single game touchdown record, season passing yards record, season passing touchdown record, season rushing touchdown, season rushing yards record, career passing yards record, career passing touchdown record, career rushing yards record, career total yards record, career total TD record.
So you're like the Peyton Manning at Reinhardt University.
Yeah, I guess something like that.
He had a good career there. Last fall, his high school jersey number 9, they were retired. Mm-hmm. I've got a question to ask you about that later. He has been at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers training camp this year and also the Las Vegas Nighthawks in the IFL, where he actually played in a game there. And you've also been to a USFL training camp this season, I think.
XFL.
XFL.
Yes, sir.
And you are an assistant coach from 2022 and 2023. In the last 2 weeks, you've been the interim head coach. And that gets lost on the other stuff that I just mentioned there. Who was your high school head coach and the assistant coaches at Scott High?
Keith Shannon was the head coach. Jackson Sharp, OC, and I think Josh Terry did receivers. I don't even remember. There's Brian Hamby, Brad Stevens. I don't even know. It's so long ago now. I don't even remember.
Well,
way back there in 2016.
Way back there in 2016 was your last year there, like it. And in high school, injuries sort of probably you may have had a good shot to be the all-time passing leader and a few other categories there, but injuries in your freshman and junior season, I think, sort of hurt that ability.
Yeah, it was my sophomore and senior year. Messed up my knee sophomore year and then broke my collarbone first game senior year.
And if we take the senior year with Trey Sellers, Billy and Trey Sellers, who split time at quarterbacks that season, they actually hold the season passing yardage record if you put the two of them together. So either one of them could have been a stellar quarterback. Coaches played him where they need him. Trey ended up being a tackle. Was that at Austin East where you got hurt? Austin East where you got hurt, and couldn't change things around fast enough, so had to limp along with somebody as the backup quarterback till halftime, and then they changed the jersey, and Trey comes back out, and I remember one of the coaches was asked, "Is that a different? That's the same player? He played tackle in the first half," and one of our coaches said, "Oh yeah, you mean your tackle's not your backup quarterback?" I mean, so Trey excelled there also, but high school experience. I'm assuming you had a very good experience as a high school quarterback.
Oh, yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
You played basketball and baseball also.
Yes, sir. It was a lot of fun. Really, the dudes I played with, I mean, it was awesome. You know, we just really, I know you grind and everything like that, but really we were just out there having fun. And, you know, whenever you put everything together and dudes that just go get it, I mean, we ended up having a pretty good year.
The other record setter on that team happens to be, I guess, your favorite receiver, Joe Ben Terry. And Joe Ben had quite a year, setting this, the all-time leading passing yardage, and then maybe single-season passing yardage that time. So Joe Ben had a great career.
I think he's got single-season receiving, career receiving, game receiving, maybe one more, but I think maybe receiving touchdowns or something like that.
And he just made it look easy.
Yeah.
I remember he was hurt one game, and then Austin Chambers moved to that X.
Yeah, and he had
260
almost
or
broke
70
the record.
yards. Yeah, I mean, it's just the amount of talent on that team was really well.
Yes, sir.
What was the next step going to Reinhardt? I know you looked at several different schools. Why did you choose Reinhardt?
Really, I just liked them. They were a winning program, kind of a newer program, great head coach, really great coaching staff. Like dudes that played in the NFL, played a lot of high college football, coached in college, other places. And I just wanted to get on the field as quick as I could. So
and their facilities are actually top-notch.
Yes, they're really nice.
Served as a 4-year captain. What were your impressions when you were voted as a captain that first season?
Really, it was just that I realized everybody trusted me, and I trusted everybody. My whole thing was like, I've got your back no matter what happens. I've got your back through the whole thing, and we're all just going to ride through this thing together.
By the time you got to your junior, senior years, you've told me, but we want to tell everybody else, that when there was a problem offensively, it wasn't the coaches stepping in doing a lot of stuff. They said, "Billy Hall, you fixed the problem."
Yep, and I think that just came with the time I would put into it. When I wasn't in class, I was at the field house, until I'd get there at 4:30 in the morning, and I left by 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I mean, that's what I did for 4 years, or really 5 years, 4.5 years. And I think it really just became, with the coaches see me doing that and the team see me doing that, and everybody kind of trusted me to kind of know what was supposed to happen and what was going on.
I know at least, was it 2 years that you won conference championships?
No, we won all five.
Off
Yes,
five?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the reason we say 5 is that one of those was in that COVID complex thing where you didn't play much in the fall and you tried to play a few games in the spring, so
Yes,
that
sir.
actually made 5 seasons.
Yes, sir.
To play there. Would you recommend Reinhardt to any young men that had a chance in Scott County, the opportunity to go to school there and actually play on one of their sports teams?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It's a great place. And you're going to be coached by the best. You're going to work harder than anybody in the country. And you're going to win football games.
You're also going to travel because they put together a pretty good 12-game schedule. Not just a conference schedule, but outside the conference too.
Yes, sir.
Did that pique your interest in maybe wanting to be a high school coach and or a college coach and or something else? And that's just a brief question. I'm going to get on to the other thing.
Not really. I had always thought about coaching. I just wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. And when I came home and Brady Strunk he had asked me to do it. So I kind of just sat down and thought about it, and the next day I told him I'd do it.
And Brady's the kind of guy, of course his brother John's back there, but Brady's the type of guy that, wants to do it right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And last year he was overcoming a knee injury, but he wanted to do it right, and he wanted to be taught, I think, by a good coach here. Like the next part B of that is you certainly, I feel, still have professional aspirations.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You don't know where that's going to take you,
Mm-hmm.
but have you set a time limit in your mind as to I'll try this for 1, 2, 3 more years to see if I get a break someplace and can be that professional athlete?
No, not really. Not really a time. I think it's more just listening to my agent. He talks all over every different league, and I think whenever he tells me, you ain't got nothing, then I'll hang it up.
Mm-hmm. But your agent is the one you've relied on
Mm-hmm.
to get the tryouts and everything else.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have anybody on the Highlander team this year? I think you've talked to me about a couple of players. We've got a couple of players that could probably play
Mm-hmm.
at the next level.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Jackson Sharp, your former offensive coordinator,
Mm-hmm.
used to work very hard and very diligently in putting pieces together to help kids get seen by college coaches. Do you do the same thing?
Yes, sir, I do.
And I'm not going to ask you to name who you're working on that with, but I know one anyway. I'm pretty sure about that. What do you look for now as a high school coach? This is actually, you make money doing this last year and this year, and you've been the interim head coach. What do you look for as a coach, a high school coach, to get the most out of the players that you coach and to grow that player?
Mm-hmm. I think really it all comes down to want to. I mean, if they don't want it, they ain't gonna do anything. And as bad as I hate to say it now, in like the world today, is a lot of kids don't want to do anything. But I will say that the team we have at Scott High, they are willing to do whatever it takes. They work hard. They know that we're going to play the top competition in the state of Tennessee every week. You're going to go against teams with 3 or 4 D1 dudes on it every week. I mean, Clinton they had a dude get offered by Alabama. I mean, they're legit. Our kids know that, but they accept it and they go to work every single day and never complain. And when you have that, you can work with it, and they grow each and every day.
You seem to have fun
Absolutely, I love it.
out on the football field.
I love it.
Fun doing your job, but fun with the kids. And what's your interaction like with these young men?
I mean, it's awesome. I think, and I hate to say it, but it's like, I know if I'm the most energetic dude on there, they're going to feed off of me and they're going to get to my level. And really, like, you can work and have fun at the same time. And a lot of times, like, you don't realize you're working because you're having such a good time and you're enjoying it, like, through the whole process.
I picked on, not you, but I picked on Coach Wright a little bit Friday night in the dressing room. We were talking about the Eagleton game. And if you go back and watch the film, on a couple of places the Highlanders had big, long runs or big, long passes. There were 2 coaches sprinting down the sideline. And did you say Jake was faster than you, or you faster than Jake?
No, Jake said he was faster than me.
That's
Jake
what
said
I
he was
thought.
faster
Jake
than me.
may have said that he was faster than you. But you guys do pretty good in that 45 and 50-yard sprint.
Absolutely.
And Coach Wright, he brings a lot of the same enthusiasm that you have to the coaching staff. And that's when he speaks at 6'7", I think the kids really listen. But starting a couple of weeks ago, I thought y'all became more vocal with the team. And I'm assuming that's going to carry over for our remaining 7 games, where you'll step into a practice huddle sometime during practice or after the game and really just, I don't want to say jump on them hot and heavy, but you want to emphasize strongly for these young men things that they need to do to be prepared for the next game.
Yeah, I think really just like it's almost like when they hear your voice loud, it's kind of like you get their attention. And they realize, like, if we go hard, like, they'll take care of us. So I think no matter what we do, like, right now they're just going after it.
Yeah, I liked it the other evening, one day last week, in that end of the game circle there, or in the practice circle there, and you looked over, and I don't remember the player, and I wouldn't mention his name if I did, and you said, eyes up, pay attention to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is that a discipline thing that all the assistant coaches are trying to bring to Highlander football?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely it is. And, I mean, it's just like one of those little things that a lot of people think go, like, unnoticed or it doesn't really matter. But to me, and like the coaching staff at Scott High, every little detail matters. And the more you do those little things good, the better you'll be as a football team.
Last year was Charles Golan as a defensive coordinator, and you helped Coach Harris so much on the offensive side. The growth of – he's not still here. The growth of Coach Golan, the growth of the other – assistant coaches, including yourself. What's it been like the last 2 years?
I think really it was just us just sitting down and really breaking down like what we need to get better at each individually, like us as coaches individually what we need to get better at. And then we got more help. Like we brought in Coach Privet, we brought in Cody Birchfield, we brought in Jeremy Kimbrell, Brady Strunk's now helping us. We instead of us running around scattered trying to do everything, it's kind of more individualized, and that's really helped us a lot.
I talked a little while ago about the fact that you played 3 sports in high school and could have played any sport probably athletically that you wanted to play. If you went back to 2016, let's go back to 2013. Obviously you loved football, but retrospectively looking back on that, is there any other sport that you think maybe I should have tried to stronger to play that, and maybe that I would have wanted to play in college?
No, I think football just brings something different out in me, and that's what I really love doing.
It'd be safe for me to say, is Billy Hall the fastest Highlander on the field right now?
Absolutely, no questions asked. Hey, if they doubt that, they can line it up.
That's what I thought you would say. Maybe we'll throw a challenge or two out there like that. But and last year during practice, you would run the scout team program a little bit.
Yep.
And there were many times that you broke down our first team, made them miss. They couldn't even catch up with you with the zig-zags and zips again. So obviously you stay in shape. How do you go about staying in shape for your professional training sessions and the tryouts that you have?
Really, I work out during my planning period during teaching, and I just try to – I'm working out like 6-7 days a week, throwing it every day. And then I'm also watching film for Scott High, and I'm also watching film on myself and like other just professional stuff, just trying to keep learning the game.
So it'd be safe to say, other than football, you probably don't have a life then.
Nope, just football.
Hey, guys, chime in here.
I'm curious about rivalries. Like in high school, was there a team that you felt like was a rival that brought out the best in you? And then same thing, college. Was there a college team that just that was the team that you wanted to line up against, and this is who you wanted to take down?
It was definitely Kingston in high school.
Yeah.
Like we had battles in really basketball and football every time we played. It was a battle every time. College, really it was just we had the mentality was our rival was whoever lines up across from us.
Yeah.
And like we treated every week like it was the dang national championship.
Well, I'm going to give you a coach test now, because most coaches I know, the losses stick with them more than the wins. Is there any games that was a loss that you really, you just replay if this had gone differently, if that had gone different? Is there a couple of games like that in high school and college?
Football, like me playing, or
yeah.
Kennesaw State, my last year there. I kind of got hit and I threw it. Dude was open. I got picked off. Really, we were predicted not to be in the game, but we ended up getting beat by 10. We played really, really well. But it's kind of like, man, if I don't throw a pick there, maybe we have a chance differently. But other than that, no, really, I just kind of my whole mindset going at it is take it one game at a time, one day at a time. And if we get beat, whatever happens, even if we win, every mistake, I'm gonna go to the next day and learn from it and grow from it.
What was the biggest? I'm sorry. Yeah, I just
have
one more. What was the biggest surprise? Like the one that maybe you never have this mentality because I didn't play, so I don't know. But was there ever a time when you thought, I don't think we can get over this hump. This one's too big, but we're going to give it our best shot. Was there a time when you surprised yourself against a team?
No, I never really had that mentality. I know this. My mentality as a team was like every time we step on a field, we're the best team on it. No matter what, no matter who lines up in front of us, doesn't matter. We're the best team on the field.
I'm sorry. I just said one more.
You're good.
It's
I've always thought like with Peyton Manning that it would be hard for him to coach because he was so physically gifted and just knew the game so well that it would be hard to coach somebody because they wouldn't work as hard, they wouldn't try as hard. So now you obviously work very hard and try very hard. Does that make it hard to coach somebody that's not that bought in?
No, I'll be honest. I just make them. We set a standard, and I treat them just like I'm training. Like I make them come to that standard. Like we really said as a coaching staff, we make them come to that, and they do. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, they do. They don't complain about it. They come in and go to work.
You know, the whole talk of the weekend was like Deion Sanders and the surprise about what. Did that surprise you that he was able to do that with Colorado, or because it seems like you've got kind of that mindset?
Yeah, he's kind of the same way though. Like he knows, like he's gonna bring in the dudes and his mentality, and like his mentality is gonna like show off on the kids, and the kids are gonna be the exact same way.
Yeah.
There is another rivalry in your high school career, I think, besides Kingston. Pretty sure you were the quarterback your junior and senior years at Elizabethton.
Yeah, we played in my junior year, I think.
Yeah.
We didn't play my senior year.
So we played them back-to-back years like that. And
both of them were close, too.
Yeah, and I kept thinking that, boy, I guess that's right. It'll be your senior year, and I kept thinking, man, Billy's senior year, we'll get them in the playoffs one more time, and we'll beat them because we did play them close. And one time it was at their old field, then they got a brand new field, stadium, and stuff like that. And we always within 6 points or something like that of them. So I always thought that was a rivalry that if we had ever got the chance, especially with you as a senior, to play them again, that we would have advanced, and that would have been huge for the Highlander football program at that time. But that's your high school career. We know what a great career you had at Reinhardt, and of course we wish you the very best. I'm selfish. I would like for you to be at this bottom thing right here. But I know you have goals out there in life, and I wish you the very best as you try to attain your own personal goals. And the last point I'm going to mention, and we'll let Ben finish out right here, your high school number was retired last year. And one of our seniors this year, I believe, had to change numbers. And that would have been Rylan Griffin. He wore the 9 for the first 3 years in his high school career. And once it was retired, I won't say reluctantly, he readily agreed to change numbers, and he wears the 0, which we can't see from the press box, but on the new jerseys. But anyway, that's quite an accomplishment, and there haven't been that many of those over the years that we have actually had the number retired at Highlander. With the Highlander programs. Ben, you want to?
I think you covered it, Rick.
Well, if you say so.
All right, Billy, thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having me.
I just got one more then. Can I just do that? I just
have at it.
I'm fascinated by from having seen your dad coach at when at Oneida when I was there, and then Robert Wright coaching at Oneida, and then you and Jake. Did you and Jake know each other well before this year, or before you started coaching at Scott High?
Not overly, but now Jake Wright's awesome.
Your brothers?
Yes, absolutely.
They are seriously, they're buds.
I mean, absolutely, he's awesome.
Yeah,
I am going to say, Tim, as someone who called Jake Wright's basketball games back in the day. You go ahead and set the record straight. There's no way that Jake Wright's faster than Billy Hall, right?
I mean, Jake might be watching. I'm not going to. If Jake says he's faster.
Jake, I got no problem with saying that Billy is faster than you, okay?
Jake's pretty fast.
Hey, one other thing.
Especially when Rusty's chasing him.
Yeah. After just one day, how's the preparation going for Knox Central this week?
It's going good. The kids came in today, learned from mistakes, and they went to work today. They're ready to go.
Ready to go. Well, of course, still four days away, but we hope that continues and that we have success and find another win this coming week.
Yes, sir.
All right, Billy Hall. Billy, it's been a pleasure watching you play quarterback at Scott High at Reinhardt and with the Vegas Nighthawks this past summer, and hopefully we see you somewhere playing quarterback again maybe this next spring.
Yes, sir.
All right, Billy Hall, our legend of the game, and that's going to do it for us tonight on the Roundtable. Be sure to join us back next Monday at the same time, as we'll be back with another slate of guests for another edition of the Roundtable. And, of course, on Friday night, we'll have high school football for you. The Baby J's Pizza pregame report will begin at 6:30 at Oneida High School, where it's going to be homecoming against Wartburg. Scott High will be on the road in Barberville, Kentucky. I think the Baby J's Pizza pregame report maybe 6:45 up there in Barberville as Scott High takes on Knox Central. We will also have live coverage of the Oneida High School homecoming parade Friday morning at 10:30. That's it for us for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.